Thanks for joining me again today. We're going to be looking at a very famous march written by John Williams. And this is part of what you might call a film franchise, Raiders of the Lost Ark. So this is the Raiders March. I'll go ahead and play some sections of it for you. I'm playing out of this book from Hal Leonard, who is John Williams' publisher, and it's called Signature Editions. And this is what it looks like. So I hope you can find that and enjoy playing these. And they're great material to work on to improve your trumpet playing. So if you've been watching my channel very much, you know that basically any piece of music that I work on, I'm looking for the spirit of the music, and then I'm trying to hear what it is that the music is telling me it wants to sound like. And then I'm trying to figure out how to educate my body so that it can make those sounds. And enjoy the process of doing it. So that's a big ask, and it's kind of a lifelong pursuit of mine. And if it's yours, then we're on the same page. So a march is a very characteristic style. You might call it a kind of a dance. So I'm just going to play the theme from this. I've changed my glasses since the last recording I did a few minutes ago. And hopefully I can see a little bit better, although I'm not doing too well right now, but we'll see how it goes. Here's Raiders March. You probably all know it. So that's a pretty snappy little rhythm, very typical of a march, a dotted eighth rhythm. And I think you know how this theme goes. So I'm going to use this, as I usually do, as a jumping off point to suggest some things that you want to listen for and you want to work on to improve your trumpet playing. So you have some angular movements here, fairly large intervals. And what I'm going to suggest to you, which I've suggested many times before, is when you have very quick moving large intervals, they need to be very smoothly connected. So one thing you can try in order to feel the pathway through the notes on a completely smooth, continuous sound as if you were singing. Now, of course, that's not what's happening in the style here. It's separated, it's articulated, it's accented. And I tend to try too hard on the accents, and I notice this from many players, so I might do something like, so I'm kind of spitting that note instead of ta 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 ti, just tossing the air. So I know it's a difficult habit to break when you're used to thinking of an accent as something that you do with your tongue, but it's actually a movement of the breath. And this piece has a lot of accents in it. Let's see. Okay, I'll go ahead. A couple of other spots, similar as we work through the piece. And then back into the original theme. Now, there's your accents. So I'm going, what I actually am thinking is, so I have a syncopated, but I'm not actually concentrating on the accents. I'm concentrating on sustaining. What do I mean? Well, when I go down, So I'm trying to sustain through those notes. The accented notes are just using more bow, as I've said before, allowing the air to flow more easily. What most trumpet players do is they push the air harder on the accent. And when you do that, you get a little tighter, and you can still get the effect, but you're using a lot of energy. And my colleagues who have played this piece, and so many others of John's, know that you need to be aware of how much gas you have in the tank and use it judiciously, because if you just go pounding through, you may not have enough to get through the end of the concert. So it's really important to be aware of playing very, very comfortably and easily on the air. Okay, let's see. Well, something that happens in this piece, you have that angular movement that I talked about before, but the theme keeps coming back, like the one I just played, then it comes back later, only it's higher. So let me see how well I can navigate that. All right, very exciting trumpet music. Angular, heavily articulated, accented. It's a great thing to practice as an exercise. And as I've mentioned many times before, don't just play it where it's written. John does us the favor of actually continuing to change the key that you're playing in all the way through the piece. It gets higher and higher. So as the music goes along, even though the themes are repeated, it gets more and more exciting because of the range change and the key change. So it's great fun. And at least it's something that to me is worth working on until it is great fun to play it. Now something else that you probably are hearing, and is very typical of John's music and something you have to be able to do in the orchestra all the time, is diminuendo and crescendo. Well, of course, we do that all the time. But if you do it and there's this physical struggle, or if you do it and there's a problem with the sound, or if you do it and there's a problem with the pitch, you know you haven't mastered the skill. So this comes back to playing your long tones, which is what this is when you're just sustaining those longer notes. You're just playing a long tone. So work on that for the sound. Now in the orchestra, how far do you come down? I have some students that say, well, there's a decrescendo and then a crescendo back again, and it starts at forte, so what should it go down to? That's a good question, actually, but it's completely dependent on the circumstance, on the context. And when you're playing in the orchestra, you don't come down all that much, but you have to make a contrast. That's the idea. Why? Because it's a gesture. It's a dynamic gesture. That's something that most people will need to practice. And I'll suggest to you, practice it for not just mastering the sound that's coming out of your horn, but mastering being able to do it easily and fun, satisfying, kind of as if you were singing it. And actually singing is a great reference for this, if you want to try that. Okay, so now the theme comes back again. And as I said, it's a little bit higher. So that carries out to the end. And I got 2 bars rest and I'm back in again. And I'm playing up to the high B flat, the high C on a B flat trumpet. And let me just play the end for you. This is from pick up to bar 139. Yes, and it ends on your high D on the B flat trumpet. This can be, as I keep saying, great fun. I hope if I practice this a little bit more, it will be more fun, and I hope that you find the same thing. So I'll give you a chance. Go practice now. See what we can get done. Don't pound yourself. Take a long view and just develop the skills. Train yourself and find good instruction where you can build yourself up so this is fun to play. Even a 2-hour concert of this music is fun to play. Okay, I'll see you later on when you have some time. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.